Hey, hey. Welcome to the Conscious Business Talks show. Thursday, here it is. And with that, here I am. And so awesome to have you here as well. Today, I actually wanted to talk about something that, as human beings, and certainly as business owners, we are no strangers to. Hey, Larissa, great to have you here. And so fantastic. Just makes me happy to see you. Um, it's kind of funny. Perhaps I'm projecting, but I don't believe I am, because in dealing with people I've helped, my clients, my students, just friends who are in this line of work, this world of entrepreneurship and business, I have seen this over and over again. The expectations that we have for us are huge because there's so much we want to do. There is so much that attracts us. There is so much that grabs at our attention. And because especially the ones that I'm attracted to, we are heart-led leaders. So there is so much that actually appeals to us just from an impact and outcome point of view. And as we get looking at it, sometimes, actually more than sometimes, we fill our plate quite full. And sometimes it's not even, sometimes it's not even that we have filled our plate quite that full. It's just that other things may come up and it leads us down this road where we're looking at all that we're doing, and perhaps, some days we're not feeling that great or whatever it is, but things need to be done. Our attention, our energy, and our time is needed. And a familiar friend slash foe pops up: overwhelm. How often have you faced that emotion, that feeling of overwhelm, looking at things and all of a sudden, either your adrenaline spikes because things need to get done and you get that fight, flight, or freeze sensation and reaction, or the other side of overwhelm where you literally feel weighed down and things are not clear, things are looking foggy, and you're wondering, what am I going to be doing? I just don't feel like addressing anything, just weighed down and unclear as to where you want to go from there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you felt that, or am I alone in that? I don't think I am, but I really want to know. Do you know what I'm talking about? This feeling, this place of overwhelm? And I would love to know that when you get into that state, what is it? What are some of your go-tos that you use to get out of it? I would love to know, because I find that when we share what works for us, it also helps others along the way that who also might be feeling that, and sharing what works for us might help somebody else. So I'll share my experience today. There was a fair bit that was going on, and I was not feeling the greatest, just because there were a few things I had to take care of, some later nights, some early mornings, and just, and again, all things that I had chosen to take on, right? And Larissa, no worries. I love the fact that you were here. I would love to hear your thoughts on the replay. Absolutely. You go and have an amazing rest of the day. But yeah, I would love, this is where I was, that feeling like, oh, okay, my energy was sort of like on a roller coaster kind of thing. I would get myself all charged up, ready to go. I'm an energizer bunny in a lot of ways. I make my own energy. I laugh, but it's true. And so, but it was funny because I was like, oh, okay, I really feel like just going for a nap. And today it seemed like I had no time for a nap. So what to do? Do I just, give in, give up? And it's like, okay, do whatever. I don't have time to do anything about this. And so everything waits. Do you do that? can you do that? Because the world doesn't wait, right? There are things that are happening, and today it was there was some pretty awesome stuff happening. I was celebrating with people that I love because, okay, I think you know what I mean. Isn't it awesome the world we live in? So many things to celebrate, so many cultures and festivals and religions and all the things that get added to your world as something to celebrate and be happy with somebody about, right? That's where I love it. Like, I celebrate with my friends, with my family. I celebrate sometimes with people I've just met, because the more occasions to celebrate, in my view, awesome, even better. So today I was celebrating Eid, and it's like Christmas, and this was so amazing because the food and the festival. And if you've been around people from East India or the Indo-Pak subcontinent, you know what I'm talking about, because there is fun things like henna and amazing food and spices and all things fun, right? So who can resist that? But that also meant that the meetings that I had, they were kind of, just sprinkled in like added flavors for the day, so to speak. Uh, and anyway, this afternoon came around and I was like, oh man, I really want to just go for a nap and I don't want to look at what else needs to be done. I was looking at the ads manager in Facebook, and a couple of things had changed. So I was trying to figure out where things are located right now. Where do I need to move things? What do I need to do? How do I attach, like, just stuff that you do anyway. Anyway, and then there was a quiz funnel that I was looking at. Somebody I know, a friend, had reached out, and anyway, long story short, the point that I'm trying to make is all of these things were going on, answers that needed to be given, decisions that needed to be made, and my energy level going. So all of a sudden, I just felt overwhelmed, tired, overwhelmed, and not at the level of energy that I would have loved to have. So here I was like, okay. And of course, then I have the show today where I want to come and normally, like, it's like, okay, what are we talking about? What do I want to discuss today? What do I want to share? What do I want to learn? What are we exchanging? Right. So I'm like, oh, I have the show today. I haven't done the notes. I haven't done anything. Where's the time for this? Overwhelm. And that led me to thinking, I have gone through and learned the hard way, the more longer, painful way, how to get myself out of overwhelm, just so I can address what needs to be done and what to do. So my energy is now balanced out. I'm able to show up and actually be present for where my feet are present, right? But the question that came to my mind was, how many of my friends right now may need for me to share what I did today to get out of that feeling, right? My nose, you can probably hear it's feeling a little snuffy. I don't ever get ill unless my body's telling me that I need some rest, and then it pretends that it's getting a sore throat or a sniffly nose or something like that, just so I'll get a good night's sleep, and the next day it's gone, right? So as I'm paying attention to the clues that my body, my friend, is giving me, in terms of what is it that I need to address for my self-care so I can actually show up more powerfully for what I need to do. All of these things are sort of like little check boxes for me to kind of say, okay, how do I get out of this pit of overwhelm where I'm feeling not my best? And yet there are all these things that I'm actually excited to be a part of, right? So what is it, whether you're watching it on replay or you're here with me live, I would love to know what are some of the things you do when you feel yourself facing that state of overwhelm. What are some of your go-tos? I'll share what I did. So here I was needing to come up with some thoughts that I wanted to share. And have you guys ever noticed that when you feel overwhelmed and not focused, it's like it feels foggy, right? You're not your creative self. And even things that should just come to you so easily, which you depend on to flow to you, just come to you, they don't, right? So everything seems a little bit harder. And there I was going, I don't actually know what I want to talk about today. I mean, just not feeling that inspired creativity come to me. And I don't like that. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? And some of the things that I know work for me, I know that if you guys have ever, um, if you have listened to Tony Robbins talk about changing your state, there are things that, he talks about changing your physiology, leading to changing your mindset, right? What your feelings are, your emotions are, tying it and snapping yourself out of that. But I don't know about you, but there's sometimes when changing my physiology, it just feels like I don't have the energy to be changing my physiology. It doesn't matter how logical that sounds like, and how often I know that it actually works. So what if you don't want to change your physiology really fast, jump around, make some energetic sounds or whatever it is? What do you do when you don't feel like it? And I don't know about you, but I like things to be simple, right? Something that's simple and clear and preferably easy for me to do even when I'm not feeling that energy. Do I sometimes change my physiology and go for it gung ho anyway? Sure. But there are other times like today when I was like, no, dude, I don't want to do that. So what do you do then? And for me, one of the things that really works is getting some oxygen flowing in my body. So breathing in certain ways always helps lift my spirit, gets oxygen to my brain and to my body, and changes the thoughts that are running through my mind. And I actually want to have an episode where I show where I share with you. And I think I'm toying with a few things I want to do in the Conscious Business Talks group. And maybe that's something I want to do there. But I want to share some of the ways that I use breathing to change my state of overwhelm, and sometimes of just focus, right? But that definitely helped. Another thing is being aware of where your thoughts are leading to. It's like, you're in a car, you're heading somewhere, and you don't like the geography of where you are or the location of where you find yourself in. And you're looking at it and you're like, I just don't like what this looks like. So why don't I turn and drive somewhere else where I know there is a better scenery, a better location, a better focus for my attention. And you literally change your focus and attention from what you don't like, you're looking in the wrong direction, and you change it to where you actually want to be and what you actually want to be looking at, being aware of, and your focus to go, right? So that's something else that works quite well for me. And frankly, for me today, just closing my eyes, being present with myself, going within after I use my breathing to oxygenate myself. There's some supplements that I gravitate towards when I know that I have been lax with my sleep, perhaps, right? Because that is an area, as you're aware, I'm in the process pretty much always of improving it, right? So, but I'm aware that if I haven't looked after myself the way I really should, what are some of the things that are going to energize my body, look after it, help it recover and heal better, right? And that's where some of the foods and the supplements come in. And my days in that I spent in the biohacking industry and the health and fitness industry, along with part of my education in the medical field, those are all of the things that also come in super handy, because there is so much. There's so much that's available to us to try, right? And having had the privilege of being around guys who are pretty much top of this field, right? Sharing their insight and their knowledge, and being behind the scenes with them also helped me know what are some of the things, or who are some of the more ethical players in that industry that I can rely on to reach for things to supplement my food with, right? Um, so there is definitely that, right? At night, I reach for magnesium, but I prefer to take magnesium glycinate these days, and because it's a mild muscle relaxant too. Taking it later at night, I find that it helps me get into that state where I get better rest, right? In the morning, again, there's so many things. So again, I'm thinking that to have a little session, or maybe a day's workshop or something, to kind of just or a retreat, to share some of my go-tos and how they have worked, not just how they have worked not just for me, but some of the really leading names in the biohacking health and fitness industry. And I just have the advantage of being able to take some of that information and use it. And Matt says, I like this. I've been trying to work on breathing every day with the breathing practice for a while now. It helps, but I need something more. There's that's the beauty of the right knowledge at the right time, because there is so much available that can help us, but so many of us are not necessarily aware of it. And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, and certainly as conscious business owners whose attention is on bringing that conscious balance to your organization, it actually behooves us to be in our top state, right? Energetically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, psychologically, and absolutely financially, right? And there's probably some that I missed, but you get the point, right? So when there is so much that we have chosen to be responsible and present for, it certainly is well worth our time to see what can we do to help ourselves, right? And especially when we find ourselves overwhelmed and not at that in that peak state, when we find ourselves weighed down, whether it's feeling anxiety, whether it's feeling panic that something isn't getting done. But frankly, for me, that feeling of overwhelm is really it, because I know that if I allow that to stay, it just pulls me down into that downward spiral where just all the more low energy states of being and emotion reside, right? And that's not where I want to live. There is definitely, there's yin and yang, so there is going to be a balance, but that doesn't mean that we cannot leverage the higher energy states of being and emotions to really fuel our work. And that's what I wanted to speak on this time, because I thought, oh, here I am. This is what I'm feeling. How many of you, like, are my friends, or people that are listening that are not friends yet, but friends to be, how many of you are feeling that, right? And is there something in my experience that can help lift you, bring you to that state of clarity and focus, um, and just allow us to show up? And really, when I say show up, there's a difference, between the state where you're just there and when you're actually showing up for everything that you have chosen to be part of and to be responsible for, and all the things you get to participate in. So I think there is definitely awesome stuff in the near future that we can talk about more in the group, because I've been lax in addressing that. I was focusing on this show more on the Facebook page so far. So there is more stuff that I'm planning, and that's in the works. Oh, and another exciting bit of news. The website and the challenge page, all of that, that's finalized. Everything is looking good. So I had deliberately put off parts of it because of certain other things. There was some immersive training that I'm part of, and that is leadership training that I wanted to be present for. So I put off the challenge for a bit, but it was pretty exciting to see the pages all looking pretty good. There's a new team member who has joined the team, and they spent time doing things I have absolutely no time for, but they were so happy with it. Their creativity was coming through, and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. When you see somebody actually shining in what they're doing, and they're excited about adding their creativity and brilliance to what thoughts you have, it just up levels everything, right? Just love that feeling. So that was really, really cool to see. But yeah, so I would love to hear your thoughts. Share them if you're catching the replay. If you are on the live, absolutely. Please let me know, what are some of the things that you do to recharge? And Matt, yes, good team members make life awesome. 100%. 100%. And MJ, yes, I would love to hear your thoughts when you do catch the replay. And to all of you, a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, depending on the time zone that you're in. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific Time, and I believe it's 10:30 Brisbane Time in Australia. So thank you for being here with me, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.